Hello, everyone. I'm making this video for those of you who missed class today. So our topic today was effective teachers. So we spent our class time talking about different characteristics of effective teachers. So as you think about effective teachers, I want you to think about this in a very comprehensive manner. So I'm not going to talk about all the details that you mentioned in the class, but I'm going to really talk about the major points that I want you to know. So as you're thinking about effective teachers, I want you to first think about what are some personal characteristics or qualities and what are some professional qualities. So the personal characteristics for a good teacher would be, just think of it as an elementary teacher. You want that teacher to be a caring, fair person. You want that teacher to have a good sense of humor. You want this teacher to be patient, because you have to have patience when you're dealing with young children. You want to have this person to have warmth, because children need those, warm relationships. So these are characteristics that teachers bring to the classroom. These are personal characteristics, and we can add more to the list, but that's not necessary. So on the professional side, teachers need to have three things. They have to have knowledge, they have to have skills, and they have to have certain dispositions. So under knowledge, we're talking about, the first thing teachers need to know is what they are teaching. That is the content they are teaching. So if they are teaching, about magnets in science, they need to know about magnets and magnetic energy. If they are teaching geography, they have to know geography to be able to teach. So the first type of knowledge that they have to have is content knowledge. The second type of knowledge they need to have is knowledge about children and how they learn and how they develop. So we call this the knowledge of pedagogy. So that's pedagogical knowledge. So that's the knowledge that allows you to understand how children learn, how they develop, and such. And the third type of knowledge is a combination of the first two, and we call that pedagogical content knowledge. And what that means is that taking that content knowledge and making it understandable or comprehensible for the age group that you're teaching. The example I gave in class today was 2 + 2 is 4. That's your content knowledge. That's a mathematical fact. But you take that 2 + 2, 4, and instead of the number 2s, you put 2 apples here and 2 apples there, and you have children count. So you make that 2 + 2 a more understandable content for your, say, first graders or kindergartners. So that's called the pedagogical content knowledge. All teachers need to have all these three types of knowledge. They're absolutely necessary. So after knowledge, the teachers need to have certain skills, and these skills, one of the most important ones is planning. Teachers need to be good instructional planners, because good planning ends up with good teaching. After that, you have the actual teaching. Teachers need to have good teaching skills, different instructional methods. They need to know how to use questioning effectively. They need to know how to give feedback to the students. They need to have to monitor students during instruction. After that, you have assessment. Teachers, one of the skills they need to have is how to assess students and how to use the results of assessment for instruction. Another global skill that teachers need to have is classroom management. They need to be able to manage their classroom so that it's an environment that's conducive to learning. And the last skill, and this came from your classmates, skills related to technology. And it's very true for teachers of today. Teachers need to have those technological skills to, effectively integrate technology into their teaching. And the last one in our concept tree is dispositions, and teachers need to bring certain dispositions to the job. And dispositions are the beliefs and attitudes and perspectives that you bring to the classroom. And these perspectives are important because they drive your behaviors in the classroom. One of the most important ones is that a belief that all children can learn. Teachers need to have this perspective. If you want to be a good, effective teacher, you have to come to your classroom with this understanding, that with this belief that all children can learn. The next one is that a good disposition for an effective teacher is respecting classroom diversity. And one of your readings for this week was about getting to know students, and that reading talked about all different types of, all different ways of being diverse in the classroom, and you will have all of that in your classroom. So respecting diversity is another one. A third one is holding high expectations for students, and this is an extremely important one. Expectations do impact how you teach, and they impact how students or how much students learn. So knowing about your expectations, and that was also in one of your, it was one of the readings for this week. Please, if you haven't read it, please read it. You have to know how to properly hold expectations, because your behavior will be different for different students. If you're holding high expectations for student A versus student B, you're more likely to smile at student A more than smile at student B, or that you're more likely to ask more difficult or more challenging questions to student A versus student B, or that you give more wait time to student A versus student B. So that's an extremely important one, holding high expectations. Another one is that being a lifelong learner. This is an important disposition for teachers. Learning does not end. It's not just learning to teach, but it's learning in general, because you are teaching content, you are learning content all the time. So you have to have this disposition that you're a constant learner. You meet with new cultures and new students, you learn about them. So that's part of being a teacher. An effective teacher is a lifelong learner. And the last one is reflection, or being reflective. Effective teachers are reflective teachers, and what reflective teachers do is that they look at their job and their actions in a way with a mindset that, you know, how can I do better next time? What could I have done differently? So reflection allows you to analyze your actions and work for a better set of actions the next time you meet with your students and such. So this is the general picture of effective teachers, but I would like to conclude my thoughts with one thing. I ask your classmates to think about effective teachers from various perspectives, like, you know, what would a child say an effective teacher is? A first grader would say, an effective teacher for me is a fun teacher, a teacher who doesn't punish anybody, a teacher who doesn't give any homework. So a first grader's perspective is not same as, let's say, a parent. You talk to a parent and ask, you know, what's an effective teacher? Most likely the parent will say, you know, a teacher who communicates clearly and regularly, a teacher who is fair to my child, you know, a teacher who is accepting, or etc. So you will get different definitions of effective teachers asking different people. But the major point of this is that you will actually, once you have your classroom, you are going to have to be an effective teacher from all those various perspectives. But that concept tree that I explained is a good framework for you to understand. If you have any questions about these, please let me know. Thank you.